Love that intro. Hello viewers, shout out to Super GT, and welcome to Daily Race B here on Gran Turismo 7 at the historic and lovely, one of my favorites, Trial Mountain. And this, as you might have saw from the title, is my first win on a GT7 daily race. It is a race dominated by Nissan GTRs, as you will soon see. As we cross the start-finish line here to start the race, I'll give you a little bit of a background here. This is a 4-lap race. There is no pit stop, meaning there is no strategy involved. And that means everything here is pure pace, which, as good for me, as you might know, race pace is my specialty. As we enter the Turn 4 tunnel, let's pay attention to the two guys behind us, Fitz and DeBlunted, as they are about to bring us some classic GT7 daily race shenanigans. DeBlunted goes on the power too early, classic understeer into Fitz, and full Princess Diana through the tunnel. Now we'll jump to the onboard with Fitz to kind of see what he saw coming out of this turn. Everything looks great, and then he's into the wall. So nothing he did there is wrong. Now let's check DeBlunted here. I've zoomed in on the steering wheel for you so you can kind of see what he's doing. He turns left into Fitz, stays in the throttle, and actually upshifts into fourth. Everything we saw there is pretty typical of online racing these days. Very poor driving, very poor sportsmanship, but nothing entirely surprising there, especially in these daily race lobbies. As we begin to brake for the bank turn entering one of my favorite sectors of Trial Mountain, we get one more sight of DeBlunted. Right into the wall. And that's our last kind of real important visual of DeBlunted for the rest of the race. Not surprising, as you could tell, he pretty much cannot do anything right. As we enter the slowest part of the section, this little left-right chicane here, when we drop into first gear for the only time on this track, I'm going to go ahead and jump ahead to lap 3 because absolutely nothing happens in lap 2. What an awful transition wipe. Anyway, we're going to jump on board while I set the fastest lap here. This next section I want to do on board so you can kind of see what I'm seeing through my favorite section of the track, where I am pretty close to the world record pace in this sector. T1, we're going to blend the throttle, clip the yellow with the 2 left tires. Stay in the throttle, clip the grass on the right there, and at that point your momentum should be able to carry you through flat out through turn 3 and into the tunnel. Now if you're cool like me, and you can see it right there, you'll forget to brake in a straight line and you'll drift halfway through the tunnel. Now typically you lose time when you drift like that, but funnily enough for me, I actually gain time on the leader, and as you can see right here, I'm about to hit another purple sector. So for the first time in 2 laps, I've actually kind of stumbled upon the fact that I'm gaining on this guy, and somehow by drifting it reminded myself, hey, you should probably late brake. And again, down this long back straightaway, this is the first time, and I wish you could see the gap on the left there, but it doesn't show up on the replay. This is the first time where I'm going down a long straightaway and I'm actually maintaining time. I'm not losing time. And driving through this apex that I missed, it really confirms it. I can see his back end. I know I'm closer. I know he can feel me. And the fact that I've lost half a second in that sector, as you can see up there by the red, but I'm still close to him, means that he's failing me. Means that he's missing his marks, which is a good thing for me. So as we come down this section here, kind of to end this lap, I love this part. Super fast downhill. You drag brake into third, clip the apex hard on the power. And at this point, I kind of put together the fact that if I late brake, this guy does not late brake. So if I late brake around the whole track and hit my marks, I will catch him. And as you can see here, I jump right up behind him. And at this point in the race, coming to the white flag, I was actually rocking in my chair, like trying to make myself go faster, hunkering down as if I was in a cart, trying to get some sort of arrow that doesn't exist on a video game. At this point, I could kind of smell the wind. I know I'm in his head, and I'm basically going to full send it through every sector, which you can see here, like right there, the car weight shifts. I'm really throwing that. I'm full throttle. I haven't let off. Usually I drag brake twice in that section. I did not touch the brakes, and as you can see, it was actually a much faster way to get through. So by chasing this guy kind of balls out, I've kind of figured out a faster way to get through sector 1, which is a good thing. And check this out, into the sector without drag braking. 2.5 tenths up on where I was. Purple sector daddy. Now this is where it kind of goes downhill for red hair, hella care. Super wide there, come through the tunnel, and also super wide through here. Now I'm not on the apex either, but I'm better than him. So really what this set me up for was a complete drag race down the spec stretch, which actually was going to be very useful knowledge for what happens at the end of this race on the front stretch. Even though I had a much better turn than him, I still didn't pull much down the back stretch. I might have pulled maybe 2 tenths out of him. So I kind of knew if we got to the situation on the front stretch, he could not out-drag me to the line. Here we have a great example of late braking. I used the banking of the turn to help slow me down. I jumped right up on a spoiler, as you can see here on the onboard. Now he makes an interesting mistake here. He brakes super early compared to the other laps, which allows me to get right on his tail. And then kind of coming down the hill, it kind of gives me an opportunity to send it here, but I decided not to. Instead, I'm going to get a good run out of this left-hander. Kind of try to set up myself coming into the last chicane. I'm going to use the draft a little bit here. I'm going to pull out wide and absolutely send it. I was a little bit far back, but I sent it anyway. And as you can kind of see here, inevitably, we made a little bit of contact there. Nothing that's against the rules. Neither of us got a penalty there. In the actual race, he locked up his right front. So because of that, it kind of gave me the room. He couldn't apex it to block me. But at this point, it's a drag race on the straight. He has no shot. I learned that on the backstretch. He can't catch me in the GTR. I'm going to cross the line for my first win. And ladies and gentlemen, that's how you do it.
I know what you want. You want my autograph.